I'm going to repeat. Kieran at this point needs to leave Nicole because it's not it. You can't continue to be told about your age every single time there's an argument or a disagreement. That's not it. And Grace, the audacity to be, flirting with these boys and then pretending to be innocent. I don't get it. I actually now agree with the comment that somebody left that, back in the day should have got a lot of men that look like Connor and Omar in trouble because of making false allegations, because this is how it's coming across. But anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK, Season 11, Episode 19. Okay, I'm going to need Grace to be honest with herself and stop wasting our time. Omar caught a lot of flack because Joey was upset, saying that he was flirting with Grace behind his back. And yet she pulled Connor for a chat. And she's all giddy and all, oh, I just wanted to check, I'm here, whatever. She was vague, is to say the least. She didn't come out and say, no, Joey and I are doing very well, because he told her, I'm worried because the people that I like are in couples and they seem to be in strong couples. And so, I don't know what to do. And she said, well, you need to remember you're here for yourself. That's more or less telling him, don't mind about those people in couples, make your intentions known. And if they're interested, they'll let you know. If not, that it is what it is. And he actually told her that he's interested in her. And she said, well, if you need to have a chat, I'm here anytime. So she is interested. I think she has a type. I think her type is Omar. I think her type is Connor. And so she is only with Joey, maybe because of his status, his celebrity status. Because make it make sense. Why is she pulling these guys for chats? And she's, sort of flirting with them and then turning around and reporting them to Joey. Why? And pretending to be innocent. I can't wait for movie night. They need to play these clips of her having conversations with these guys. And I want to see how Joey reacts when he realizes that the guys were not wrong. She's the one who started it. Because they're not crazy to just walk up to her and start chatting inappropriately or start flirting with her and she not reciprocate. At some point, they will stop. So if she's been in a couple with Joey and Omar was still flirting with her, that means she was encouraging it. And now she has Connor. The good thing I like is Omar stood on business, and I hope when the time comes, Connor stands on business and shows Joey that, yes, you're a celebrity, but at the end of the day, you're still a person like me. Anyway, I digress. I am here for Harriet, trying to pursue things with Ronnie. As long as it gets her to Casa and as long as it gets him to be his messy self up until Casa and we get entertained, that's all I want. I don't care what he does. As long as I'm entertained, that's what I want when I watch Love Island. And so for Jess thinks too highly of herself. I said this before, I'll say this again. Jess thinks too highly of herself. She thinks she's better than she actually is, because for her to have a conversation with Omar and be telling Omar that, Ronnie's only gone back to Harriet because he thinks I'm not available. And it's like, nah, he hasn't liked you. I know Kim in the comments was saying that apparently his family seemed to really like Jess and they want him to be with Jess, and it's like, nah. What about Jess do they like? The fact that she was bullying the girls, the fact that she was disrespectful, what is it about her that they like? Because there's nothing to like about Jess. The way she's carried herself, especially in the first week of the villa, was terrible. So I don't know what family would want that for their child. Why would they want that for their son? And so I don't get why her friends didn't tell her the truth and tell her that maybe he is really not into. Yeah, she did tell her that, this is a sign, this is whatever. And it's like, be honest with her. Tell her the truth. He's not really feeling you like that. You need to move on and you need to find somebody else and stop wasting your time and stop wasting his. Instead of encouraging, oh, maybe it's because, he doesn't think the door's open, so you need to pull him and let him know. For what? For what? I don't get it. And then Kieran sat down and had a conversation with Nicole. What do I think? Kieran needs to move on. Nicole is not for him. If she can disrespect him and bring up his age, this is not the first time, this is not the second time. Why should he continue to put up with that? Just because his family told him they want him with a Welsh girl. There are plenty of other Welsh girls he can find anywhere. Hopefully in Casa they bring in Welsh girls so that he knows that, Nicole is not it. She's not the be-all and end-all. Anyway, you have the islanders get ready for the night and they all go to sleep. So in the morning, they have a debrief, and thank God we only listen to one or two conversations. We don't have to listen to everybody going on about the same thing. And it's mainly to do with Sean and his connection. And for me, I don't get it. I know in the changing rooms the night before you had, Matilda saying, oh, she's really enjoying getting to know Sean. And she was asked, would you kiss him if he kissed you? And she said, yeah, if it was the right moment. And so do I think she really likes him? I think she had a stronger connection with Omar. And because Omar was taken out, she's now having to make do with what she has. I want to see what happens when someone walks in, a bombshell that's her type, how she's going to react to that. That's what I'm waiting for, because this, I don't think is it. I think it's a relationship of convenience. And I think Sean was very sneaky in how he got about it and how he got to be the only option. So they have that conversation, they're debriefing. I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm whatever. And it's like, Sean, you've been excited about every single girl and every time they've turned you down. So please sit down. Well, this is no different. This is just you trying to stay yourself in the villa. The fact that you're saying she's the best of the pick and mix. Why are we continuing to advertise your business? I don't get it. You have, Matilda speaking to Grace and sort of saying that, she really likes Sean. They seem to be doing very well. She feels very comfortable. And it's like, that's not a good enough excuse. Every girl in the villa feels comfortable. If there's a challenge to kiss someone, they kiss Sean because they know that they can get away with kissing him without upsetting their partner. So that's not a justifiable reason. I don't get it. You had Harriet sit down for a conversation with Jess, and Jess was saying, I wanted to have a conversation with Ronnie, but then I saw him pulling you, so I think there's no reason why I should bother doing that. And it's like, why did you want to pull him? Why do you think there's unfinished business? So your unfinished business suddenly is recognized when Harriet is coupled up with Ronnie, or Harriet is chatting to Ronnie. When Ronnie was chatting to Tiffany, you didn't bother to address your unfinished business. Suddenly he's chatting to Harriet. You have unfinished business. I think she was intimidated by Tiffany. This is why she never bothered, just to sort of pursue the unfinished business. And the moment she saw that Harriet was there, and because she undermines Harriet, she thought she had a chance, and this is why she's decided to sort of go in and sort of have this conversation about unfinished business. Her trying to warn Harriet to say, oh, be careful because we have to wait until the next girl comes in. Harriet is not as stupid as she makes out. She's not as naive as she makes out. I think she's one of the smartest girls in the villa, and she knows exactly what she's doing to get herself the attention that she wants. Anyway, the islanders receive a text message to gather around the fire pit. Sorry about my voice. I don't know what's happening there. It's going in and out. So, they're told that the girls will get to pick, but first the bombshells will choose who they want to couple up with. Matilda coupled up with Sean. Am I surprised? No, because that's her only option. The only other option she had was sent home. So that's really not a win. In Sean's situation, that's him being chosen as the complimentary prize, as far as I'm concerned. With Connor, he picked Grace. Am I surprised? No. Grace gave the inkling that she was interested in getting to know him. Her sort of making faces and pretending to be upset, she needs to sit down somewhere. I know someone in the comments had written that Grace is those women that used to get black men, in a lot of trouble back in the day. And for me, it's not just that. She cries wolf so many times that when things actually happen, it's going to be difficult to believe her, because she keeps sort of giving these guys the impression that she's available. When they pursue her, then she starts to pretend like she never gave them that impression. And I don't like that. For Joey to be upset, why didn't he close things off then? Why didn't he close things off with her? That way nobody else would be interested in her. You should actually be hyped that other people besides him like his girl. So, hey, it is what it is. And just being messy and laughing. Hey, what can you do? Am I surprised with the rest of the pairings? No, I'm not. Obviously, Nicole was going to pick Kieran. That's a given. Mimi was going to pick Ayo. That's a given. Omar was going to pick Will. That's a given. And Harriet was going to pick Ronnie. That's a given. Which meant that Joey was single. And so Jess stood up to pick him. And then she's talking about, I've only had one connection since I came in here. And, I wanted closure. And it's like, Seriously, can you hear yourself in front of everybody saying that? So you are saying you wanted closure, but when he was with Tiffany, you didn't want closure. Suddenly he's with Harriet, you want closure. Make that make sense? He's already told Harriet that he's not interested in getting to know you. Him avoiding you should be enough words to tell you that he's not interested. And also for her to throw shade at Connor and say, okay, I am happy to couple up with this person until he gets his girl back. And it's like, please sit down. We're not here for you. You have faded away into the abyss. We don't care what's going on with you. You have no storyline. All you can do is try and be messy with other couples. That's it. And then after the recouplings, to have Grace start to pretend like she wants to cry. Please sit down. Please sit down. We're not here for that nonsense. We're not here for your crocodile tears. You gave this man the impression that you were open. You should have told him that even though we haven't said we're closed, at the moment, I'm not interested in getting to know anyone. You were very vague in what you said to him. So please sit down. Joey, I think, didn't want to lash out the way he did with Omar because I think he thinks his reaction to Omar is the reason why they were in the bottom. So he doesn't want to be in the bottom. This is why he pretended to be cordial and to sort of go along with it and say, oh, it's actually a compliment that somebody else finds attractive. Nah, you're saying that just because you don't want a negative sort of edit, and you think that if you react that way, if you give a negative edit, the fans are not going to vote for you. Well, people have already been put off by you, and sadly Grace is making things worse because she's sitting there by the mini fire pit busy saying to Jess and Harriet, oh, I'm happy he chose me because I wouldn't have wanted him to break up any other couple. Well, he could have easily have chosen Mimi. He could have easily have chosen Omar. You could have chosen anybody else. So you are saying you were giving him friendly advice. You didn't tell him that. You didn't say, okay, I am really happy to talk to you, but on a friendship basis, though Joey and I haven't closed things off, but we're doing very well, so I don't want to explore another romantic connection. She didn't say that. So she needs to sit down. We're not buying the fake tears. Kieran. So he sat down for a conversation while he was with Nicole, and then Jess joined them. And he said, I was a bit surprised with your recoupling speech, because she was asking, how did you feel about my recoupling speech? And he, just like everybody else, was shocked that she wanted closure. And he's asking her, so you want closure from who? From Ronnie? And she's like, yeah, well, if he had left yesterday, I wouldn't have had closure. And he's like, well, if he's not pulling you for a chat, that means he's not going to give you closure. You have to find closure on your own, which she does, though. I don't know what closure she wants. She gave him an ultimatum. He didn't meet the ultimatum. That should have been the closure that she needed. When he chose Harriet and he was making out with Harriet in bed the very first day that she had to walk out, that should have given her closure. When he coupled up with Tiffany and started saying he's not interested in anybody else, that should have been enough closure. What closure does she want? The only closure she wants is she wants him to pick her over Harriet. But she can't get that. And so this is why she's going to continue to drag that horse to drink water when he doesn't want to. And you have Sean having a conversation. He's ecstatic. I don't think Matilda likes him like that, because he was saying, oh, I'm happy to be in a couple with you, cuddling and kissing and whatever. And she said, I'm happy to be in the bed, in the main bedroom. So she's only worried that she's being removed from wherever they were keeping her to bring her to the main bedroom. That's her thing. She's not happy to be in a couple with him. So I don't know what he doesn't pick up from that. It's sad that he sent someone home thinking he would win, and he's only going to win for once until they go either to Casa or another male bombshell walks in, and then that's it. Or maybe she'll end up coupling up with Connor. I wanted to couple up with Connor. I think that will actually work better for them, because I think bombshells, when they first walk in, they're not allowed to couple up together. But after this week, she should be okay to pursue things with Connor, and she'll be okay. And they will make a great couple. But anyway, I digress. I don't get Grace being upset with Connor as though he's done something wrong. She opened the door, he stepped in, so she needs to deal with it. She needs to suck it up and see if there's anything there. If not, then she goes back to Joey. That's the name of the game. You have, Ronnie speaking to Harriet, and sort of they're discussing her speech and whether or not he's happy. He's happy to be with her in a couple, so that's good for them. You have Omar passing by while Ronnie's asking, are you happy? And she's like, well, yeah, she's ecstatic. And it's like, yeah, she is happy that she finally has Ronnie back. At the fireplace, she did mention that she sent Tiffany home so that she had a shot. So it wasn't just Sean who got rid of the competition, she did as well. Then you have, the islanders get ready for the night, and they receive a text message that, Ronnie and Harriet are going on a date. The producers are messy because Jess had just finished saying that she wanted to speak to Ronnie once they'd had their drinks. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Allow her to have this conversation. Do you think that Ronnie is going to be so messy that, you'd rather save her from Ronnie? What is it? Obviously, Harriet was excited. And then I think she had second thoughts and she went, oh, Jess, I'm sorry. I forgot about you and the way you were feeling and the fact that you wanted. And Jess was, why would you care? And it's like, she's being empathetic. She's realizing that, although she's excited to be going, you still need closure. So maybe it would have been a good idea for you to have closure first before she went on her date. Ronnie doesn't even seem to care that Jess is in the villa. He doesn't even seem to care that, he needs to have conversations with her. I assume Kieran has told him, but he's not even bothered. When the text about the date comes, he's ecstatic. So he goes on his date. They're good. And then you have this conversation between Ayo, Connor, and Sean. I don't know what Sean was doing there. And I like the fact that Connor was very vague because when he was asked, why did you go after Grace? He didn't open the door and say fully what happened. If I were him, I would have told them, she opened the door. She pulled me for a chat. We had a conversation and I assumed that, she really liked me. I agree with what they're saying that that the first time it was a holiday romance, this time it's a holiday romance. It's working because they're together. What happens when they leave the villa? What's the guarantee that it will work? And even if she's saying we're on the verge of being closed off, if she really liked Joey, she should have closed things off. If she really was all in, I think she's just as nervous and is still looking at other options. So this is why she's keeping the door open and is not saying they're closed off. Sean wanting to find out what was happening. I think he was there in this capacity of Joey's spy, and I'm happy that the boys didn't give him anything to sort of go back with. Anyway, Ronnie and Harriet go on their date. I actually liked Ronnie and Harriet's date. It was sweet. It was a nice venue. It was very romantic. And the fact that they actually had a proper conversation, it wasn't just, do you find me sexy? Do I find you sexy? They spoke about his family. They spoke about her as a person, him as a person, and the changes. And she sort of set her expectations from him, which I like. I like the fact that she wasn't all giddy. Oh, we're back together. Can we make out? No, she actually had a proper conversation with him, which was sweet, which I think is the most important thing to do. You then had them return to the villa and sort of break down what happened on their date, and you could see that Jess was feeling some type of way. She wasn't happy. Everybody else was happy for Harriet, but she wasn't happy. And it's like, but you want a guy that doesn't want you. And Harriet said the truth. She said, he told me he's done with triangles. He wants to be serious. He wants to focus on me, and that's it. And Jess is still there with a stone face, and it's like, you can't force this guy to be with you. You can't. He doesn't want you. Keep it moving. Hopefully a bombshell comes in. If not, casa happens while you're still in the villa and you find your person and you leave him alone. So you have Sean take Matilda to the terrace. I think that was a producer guided stunt. They had a conversation and he kept saying, I'm buzzing. There is no substantial conversation, and that kiss looked very awkward. I don't think it was as great as it's making out to be. The fact that he felt the need to publicize to everybody that had been kissed on the terrace is just, oh my God, humiliating. And I wonder how she genuinely feels, because I don't think she was excited about the kiss as she made out, even when they were walking out and she sort of hugged him. It was more a friendship hug than anything. So I hope it's not going to lead to him walking out when he realizes that he's the only one who's excited and she actually is not. I've said it before and I'll say it again. At this point, Kieran needs to choose his sanity, because if Nicole is panicking or is going off on every single thing and she's bringing up his age, then it's time for him to move on and find someone who appreciates the man that he is and not his age. They did have this conversation earlier where she was asking about his body count, and he said 120, and she was put off by it, and she started talking about his age. How can someone your age have been with that many people? That's too many people for someone who's 21 years old. Yes, I know you said you've taken part in threesomes, whatever, but still, it's still too much. Okay, fine, that's how you feel. Break up with him. You don't need to be closed off with someone if things are not working out. Why continue to drag it out? So after the dinner, they also had this, once they had their drinks, they continued with this conversation, and it's like, make it make sense. Do you like this guy or don't you? If you like him, then you have to be willing to overlook certain things. If you're not willing to overlook those things, then maybe he's not the one for you. Maybe you need to keep it moving and you need to find somebody else who is for you, and who is an ideal match for you. Anyway, Jess Jess is shady. Jess is messy, and she is jealous. And I think her jealousy is what is sort of eating her, because she sat down for a conversation with Ronnie, and they were talking about the fact, she said, "Oh, I wanted to clarify to you why I picked Sean." And it's like, well, you picked Sean and you've been picked by Omar, and now you're with Joey. So you've recoupled 3 times after leaving, Ronnie. So why do you feel the need to sort of air anything out? It's time to move on. You move on, he's moved on with somebody else, and today is not the time, because you're taking away from somebody else's joy, because he is on a high. He's just come from his date, for you to bring him to a place where he's already been and he's moved on from. Make that make sense? I like the fact that he said to her, if you had picked me, then things might have been different.
Had I not
he didn't say I was going to be 100% for you. So for her to run back to the girls and say in front of Harriet, he said, if I had picked him, things would have been different and you'd have been 100% for me. And it's like, he didn't put in the 100% word. The 100% is something that you are saying to try and make yourself look good. That way it makes it seem like you were his first choice and it's just settled for Harriet. And I give Harriet a lot of credit for not lashing out or saying anything vindictive. But I wish she had said, okay, let's go and speak to him. Let's go and talk to him and find out where he is. Because I think as soon as Jess realized that she had screwed up, she started retracting and saying, "Oh, but he's saying at the moment he's not interested, I deserve better." Yeah, he said at the moment, if you had picked him, things might have ended up different, but he's realized that he's not the man for you. You deserve better, and is hoping someone comes in that's only for you and hopefully gives you what you're after. So how then did we go from that to suddenly you telling everyone that he said he was going to be 100% all in for you? Make that make sense? That doesn't make sense. And I hate the fact that because she hasn't been able to win Ronnie, she's decided to burn his relationship with Harriet. I'm not saying he's the best guy, but Harriet at least deserves a bit of joy. I understand her confessional saying, her going to him and having this conversation sort of takes away from my date, takes away from the joy that I had coming from the date. And so, I don't know, somebody needs to call her out. They need to have a conversation, the 3 of them. They need to sit down and have an open and honest, and everybody needs to air out everything, and then they can move on. Because at the end of the day, Jess is going to continue to say what she wants to say to make herself look good. So I think they need to sort of sit down. The way Uma and Mimi and Ayo sat down and had a conversation, this is what they need to do. And I think Jess needs to be exposed for her lies, because that's not what he said. He didn't say he was going to be all in on you. He said things might have been different. That's all he said. Anyway, I digress. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 18. Bye guys.